It is Friday. It is the 14th of March. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Our top stories today. Minutes ago, Malaysia's transport minister told reporters that he cannot confirm reports that investigators now suspect a missing Malaysian airliner was hijacked. Hishmahuddin Hussein would only say that they are looking at all possibilities. The Reuters news agency had reported that radar evidence suggests the plane was deliberately flown toward the Andaman Islands. Reuters says this new information is steering investigators toward the theory that the plane was taken over by someone who knew how to fly a plane, possibly a hijacker. The search has now been expanded into the Indian Ocean. Clancy is on the line now. He's following the very latest developments from Kuala Lumpur. Jim, give us more of an idea of what the authorities in Malaysia there are saying about Flight 370.
Well, obviously, they say their first concern is finding that aircraft.
Jim, what's interesting in this news conference is that they're still calling this a search and rescue operation.
They don't want to give up hope. They don't want to take hope away from the families.
Right. Jim, thank you for that. Jim Clancy there on the phone for us from Kuala Lumpur. Well, Philip Baum is the editor of Aviation Security International. He joins us now from Tasmania in Australia. Philip, thank you very much for being with us. Based on what we've heard so far from authorities there in Malaysia and also the other kinds of, I guess, analysis that we're hearing, the little bits of analysis that we're hearing about different possibilities, what are you garnering from all this information based on, again, the possibilities that this may have been a hijacking?
What I'm garnering is a lot of confusion. The biggest lesson
at the heart of it are the families waiting for any word right now. Philip, thank you very much for your thoughts on this. We really appreciate you sharing some analysis with us, no matter, obviously, understanding that it's very difficult to do analysis when there's such little information right now. Philip Baum there joining us from Tasmania. You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Ukraine's interim prime minister says a peaceful resolution with Russia is still possible, but the clock is ticking. In just 2 days, Crimea holds a referendum on whether the peninsula should secede from Ukraine and join William Hague. Kerry warns that Russia will face serious measures from the U.S. and Europe if the referendum in Crimea goes forward and Russia tries to annex the peninsula. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has also warned that Russia faces massive damage economically and politically. Well, let's take you now to Nick Payton-Walsh. He joins us now from Simferopol in Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula. Nick?
Monita, I should bring you some breaking news. We've just had a statement from the Russian Foreign Ministry that it reserves the right to take under its protection. All
right, Nick, thank you. You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Coming up in the show, the trial of Oscar Pistorius continues. We'll take you live back. You are watching a special extended edition of CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal. Malaysia's transport minister told reporters he cannot confirm reports that investigators now suspect the missing Malaysian airliner was hijacked. Hishmahuddin Hussein would only say that they are looking at all possibilities. The search has now been expanded into the Indian Ocean. They are saying that their priority is to find the plane and its data recorders. Only then will they know what happened to Flight 370 and those on board. There were 239 passengers and crew. Two-thirds were from China. CNN's Pauline Chu joins us now from Beijing with more on the families that remain in hell. Pauline?
Yeah, it's been such a challenging week for these relatives, Monita. 500 to 700 of these family members come to this hotel behind a plane after 7 days. These are the very straightforward questions that these family members are looking for answers to.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking indeed. Pauline, thank you for that. Pauline Chu there live for us from Beijing. You are watching an extended edition of CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Do stay with us. We'll be right back after the short break. You are watching an extended edition of CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. The search for the missing Malaysian Airlines plane has been expanded amid media reports question whether it was hijacked. The Reuters news agency is reporting that radar evidence suggests the aircraft was deliberately flown toward the Andaman Islands. A lot of analysis about what may have happened to Flight 370. Let's take you to our sister network, CNN US, for more on that.
From the plane were transmitted to satellites hours after the last contact. Now, given how long those signals lasted.
And we've been watching analysis and discussion about missing Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 in our sister network, CNN US. We'll be right back with more news. Stay with us. A high-stakes diplomatic push is underway as the clock ticks down to a pivotal referendum on Crimea's fate. America's top diplomat is in London. Secretary of State John Kerry is holding crisis talks with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov this hour, but Moscow is showing little sign of backing down as Crimea prepares to vote. Well, Kerry warns that Russia will face serious measures from the U.S. and Europe if the referendum in Crimea goes forward and Russia tries to annex the peninsula. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has also warned that Russia faces massive damage economically and politically. World Affairs reporter Lise Labott joins us now from London with more on this increased diplomacy. Elise, they're still holding on to hope that diplomatic measures will pan out, but the clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking. It's really a showdown in this 11th hour, Monita. And I think that the Americans think it's a foregone conclusion that this referendum is going to go ahead.
All right, Elise, thank you for that. Elise Labott there live for us from London. The Oscar Pistorius murder trial is back in session in Pretoria. The top police commander on the scene the night Reba Steenkamp was killed is again on the stand. Now in its 10th day, the trial has been shrouded in concerns over the behavior of police. Well, let's get the very latest on today's proceedings. CNN's Robin Curnow is outside the courthouse, and she joins us now live. And Robin, as we heard there, so there's tainted evidence when it comes to the murder weapon. There's questions about the police handling, again, of this investigation. And what has been said throughout the 10 days is that the kind of evidence that we're seeing now is circumstantial. Certainly doesn't bode well for the prosecution right now.
You know, I think it's so difficult to get a sense of, where we are in the trial.
Right. Robin, thank you. Robin Curnow there live for us from Pretoria. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Still to come, the delightfully warm temperatures in Europe continue. We'll bring you the very latest weather report from Mar14. Stay with us. You're watching a special extended edition of CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. The warm weather in Europe continues, but in Southeast Asia, what they need is rain. Myra Ramos is at the World Weather Center with more on that. Mari?
Yeah, Monita, it's been a long time. We're going to talk about the conditions in Europe in just a moment, but I wanted to start you off in Southeast Asia.
It does look good indeed. Mari, thank you very much. You're watching CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal live at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. I'll be back with the top stories in just a few minutes.